As the Igbo people often say, a child who is carried on the back does not know how far the journey is, a proverb that highlights how those in positions of power may overlook the daily struggles of the people they lead. This rings especially true in the escalating standoff in Anambra State, where the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has directly challenged Governor Chukwuma Soludo by directing traders and residents to resume business activities and reopen shops and markets starting Tuesday, January 27, 2026, even as the state enforces a one-week closure of the Onitsha Main Market for non-compliance with its abolition of the Monday sit-at-home order. The directive came in a press statement issued on January 26, 2026, signed by IPOB spokesperson, Comrade Emma Powerful. IPOB framed the instruction as an affirmation of citizens' right to livelihood and an expression of the people's wishes, urging Governor Soludo to respect the collective will of traders and residents rather than viewing it as defiance. The group emphasized that Igbo-owned businesses were built through individual effort without government funding or support, drawing parallels to the resilience displayed during the COVID-19 lockdowns. IPOB also renewed its long-standing call for the unconditional release of its detained leader, Nnamdi Kanu, insisting that his freedom would restore peace and enable normal economic activities across the southeast. The statement declared that markets would open the following day and warned against any attempts by the state to use security forces to enforce restrictions through arrests, harassment, or violence, cautioning that such actions could lead to serious consequences while affirming no desire for confrontation. This latest development directly follows Governor Soludo's decision earlier on January 26 to shut down the Onitsha Main Market for 1 week after an unscheduled visit revealed widespread non-compliance with the state's policy requiring full business operations from Monday to Saturday. Soludo addressed traders, journalists, and security personnel on site, stressing that partial adherence would no longer be tolerated and warning of tougher sanctions, including a potential month-long closure if the market remained shut the following Monday. The enforcement involved joint security teams securing the premises to prevent access, turning the usually vibrant hub into a restricted zone. If you're tracking the complex interplay between governance, separatist movements, and economic life in Nigeria's southeast, and want to stay informed on how these tensions affect communities, hit that like button now. Share your thoughts in the comments about balancing security directives with livelihoods, and subscribe with notifications on to catch every update as this situation evolves. The backdrop here is the persistent Monday sit-at-home observance in parts of the southeast, a practice that originated as a form of protest tied to the detention of Nnamdi Kanu and broader agitations for Biafran self-determination. While it began as a response to insecurity and perceived injustices, it has evolved into a recurring disruption that forces businesses, schools, and public services to close weekly, costing the region billions in lost revenue and hindering daily life. Governor Soludo's administration has actively sought to dismantle this practice, citing marked improvements in security and the need to restore economic momentum in Anambra, a commercial powerhouse. Previous measures have included salary incentives for public workers and enforcement actions against non-compliance, but adherence has remained uneven, particularly in major markets like Onitsha, which serves as a regional economic lifeline. IPOB's position remains firm. The sit-at-home continues as a peaceful civil expression linked to Kanu's detention, and no executive order can override it without addressing the root cause. The group has portrayed Soludo's enforcement as an overreach aimed at impressing federal authorities rather than genuinely protecting Igbo interests, while asserting that traders should not be intimidated into abandoning their means of survival. Governor Soludo, in contrast, has framed his actions as necessary to end what he sees as economic sabotage and to ensure full-week productivity in line with improved safety conditions. The implications are significant on several levels. Economically, the one-week market closure already disrupts trade flows across West Africa, affecting wholesalers, retailers, transporters, and countless families dependent on daily earnings, prolonged standoffs risk deepening hardship in an area where informal commerce drives livelihoods. Socially, the clash pits state authority against a group with deep grassroots influence, potentially polarizing communities between those prioritizing normalcy and those viewing sit-at-home as legitimate protest. Politically, it tests Soludo's administration's resolve to assert control over security and economic policies amid separatist sentiments, while IPOB's directive could embolden defiance or lead to confrontations if enforcement intensifies. Security-wise, warnings from both sides highlight the risk of escalation, though IPOB stresses peaceful compliance and Soludo relies on lawful measures. Reactions have been mixed in the immediate aftermath. Some traders and residents may feel caught between state orders and IPOB's influence, wary of potential repercussions from either side. Critics of Soludo, including voices within opposition circles, have questioned the closure's impact on vulnerable populations without sufficient dialogue. Supporters of the governor argue that firm enforcement is essential to break the cycle of disruption and foster genuine progress. IPOB's call has been welcomed by its followers as standing up for self-determination and economic rights, while others see it as prolonging instability. Looking ahead to January 27th and beyond, the day will reveal how traders respond, whether markets reopen in line with IPOB's directive, remain closed under state enforcement, or see partial activity amid uncertainty. If widespread openings occur, it could challenge the effectiveness of the shutdown and prompt further government responses, such as extended closures or additional security deployments. Conversely, continued compliance with the state might signal a shift toward the governor's vision of uninterrupted business. Either way, this episode underscores the deep-seated challenges in reconciling state governance with lingering separatist grievances, particularly around Nnamdi Kanu's case. Dialogue, perhaps mediated or involving community leaders, may become necessary to prevent further economic losses and potential unrest, while sustained security gains could gradually erode support for sit-at-home practices. As this tense moment in Anambra plays out, it reminds us how economic freedom, security, and political aspirations intersect in the Southeast. If this report has you reflecting on these dynamics, show your support. Give it a like, drop your perspective in the comments on resolving such conflicts, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of stories impacting lives across Nigeria. Now the news be this, because on Confirm Street News, now waiting we hear with a report, but be sure say na confirm. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll bring you the latest as events develop. Take care.